Welcome back, True Seeker. It is Sunday, November 19th, 2023. And just want to talk NFL Week 11 and remind people how scripted the league is, and also the dark stuff that happens behind the scenes, the suspicious deaths. Like you can recall a few years ago when Dak Prescott's brother died the day of the NFL draft, and we talked about the parallel with his brother's death to his mother's death. And what the deaths had to do with Dak Prescott being a Dallas Cowboy. We're going to revisit that in light of what happened in Dak's game today. It was a very significant game for Dak. It was 113 days after his birthday, his 113th game as a Cowboy. Of course, once upon his time, his brother died on the 113th day of the year, April 23rd, sort of like how his mother died on November 3rd, 11/3, like 113. We're going to get to that and why he was playing the Panthers on the day leaving 42 days left in the year. Earlier this year, Miami beat the Panthers with 42 points on the anniversary of the Black Panther Party being founded. But anyway, we'll bring it all together. But let's go through the games. We're starting to get the hot hand again in the NFL. It's been a difficult season, but 2 out of the last 3 weeks have been dominant. And very, very good day today. A lot of people multiplied in a big way. Shout out to everyone who had a good day. Congrats to Chris in Vegas. He's sending me stacks of cash. So Chris had I think a record day today. Congrats to him, family man, helping out the fam with the knowledge. But anyway, the Browns over the Steelers. Let's go through the games today. There were a lot of things that lined up for the Browns. And as I talked about this week, there's something deeper going on with Cleveland. And again, Donald Trump trying to repeat history. Only Grover Cleveland's been a split-term president. Of course, Trump had his convention in 2016 in Cleveland, and Jim Brown was at it. And now Jim Brown's dead on May 18th of this year, and the Browns are having one of their best years in a long time, along with the Lions, two of the lowliest teams in the NFL. And both teams winning in nail biters of games today. But one of the big patterns that we liked in the Browns game today was that they could become 5-1 at home, a bit like 51. You might recall when Cleveland broke the championship drought. That's when LeBron beat Steph Curry and the Warriors on the real King James's birthday, June 19th, 2016, right before Trump had his convention in the same stadium. But you might recall when LeBron won that championship for Cleveland, it was the first championship for Cleveland in 51 years and change. And that 51 number shows up a lot in the city of Cleveland. Showed up again today with them becoming 5-1 at home. And in the Bears, other things that were interesting that game. In Gematria, Cleveland Browns equals 169. Mike Tomlin stayed on 169 regular season wins. There was even more. But really, just to go through each game and hit you with a strong bullet point for why we liked it, the 51 is a big trend with Cleveland. So for all you guys who never support the Patreon and say, why don't you give out more information for games? Again, you guys got to remember, for 5 years, there was no Patreon. We did everything for free. Now I ask a measly $5 a month. It's not a lot if you want the sports content. And you get a lot of content. You get daily content for $5 a month, hours upon hours upon hours of work every day at the price of $5 a month. But even for those of you guys who can't muster up the 5, take notes. When I'm telling you about Cleveland and 51, if you just pay attention and use your own brain and your own eyes, you'll see how the number comes up quite a bit in Cleveland. So Browns, 5-1 at home, beating the Steelers. Stefanski, the coach, also got his 33rd regular season win. Of course, Cleveland equals 33, beating the Steelers, established in 1933. When was the last time the Browns beat the Ravens and Steelers in back-to-back weeks? Cleveland, after Jim Brown's death, having a season like we haven't seen in a long time. But the Lions and the Bears, there were a number of things that lined up for the Lions in this game, and it was a nail-biter of a game. But one of the big things was 313, area codes in sports. Detroit is the 313 area code. Justin Fields lost today and fell to 3-13 away. 3-13, 313. And again, it's really hard to go against the area code ritual. That's the third 313 narrative that's hit for Detroit this year. There's been 4 on the board. One of them failed. The one that failed didn't shock us because we actually we didn't even take the bait in that game. There was too much on the other side. But again, you pay attention to the numbers. You learn kind of how the riddles go. You can take advantage of the rigging. And Packers and Chargers. We favored the Packers. A big reason why is looking at the Chargers' next game. The Chargers' next game is against the Ravens. And remember when the Ravens won the Harbaugh Bowl in Super Bowl 47, you had the blackout in New Orleans. Remember that? The long blackout, the 30-some minute blackout. Some sources said 33 minutes. Some said 34-minute. Ravens won that Super Bowl with 34 points, like they've won both their Super Bowls with 34 points. Of course, Maryland equals 34. You run it the other way, Maryland equals 47 like Chargers. Anyway, now that the Chargers lost and fell to 4-6, they can fall to 4-7 versus the Ravens in their next game. And the other thing was Lambeau Field equals 46. Notice both teams became 4-6 with the Packers win. Lambeau Field 46. Both teams 4-6 records. Chargers now a chance to fall to 4-7 versus the Ravens, who again won the blackout bowl, Super Bowl 47. Chargers, a lightning bolt. They've done rituals with the Chargers and electricity and lightning strikes that we've documented in years past as well. Of course, when a power outage, the thing you want is a charger. But Packers over the Chargers. You see how the Dolphins got to here, let me zoom in on these in case it's too far out. This one, you really got to see the record. You see how the Dolphins got to 7-3 and 5-0 at home, remaining perfect at home. Remember, in Gematria, the word perfect equals 73. Today's date numerology is 73. The Dolphins had the perfect season that was the 72-73 season. It ended in 73, the perfect season. And that season was in 73, 50 years ago. Dolphins become 5-0 at home with the perfect season. And they do it against the hosting Super Bowl team, the Raiders. Interestingly enough, today leaves 42 days left in the year. The Super Bowl is on the 42nd day of the year, February 11th. But yeah, we like that narrative. And we thought the Raiders also had a great case to cover the spread, which they did. But Dolphins win, Raiders cover, and right on. The Giants were one of my favorite upset narratives today. How many times have I taught you guys about Giants and 25? I mean, a million, right? They won Super Bowl 25. Again, if you're new here, Gematria is very simple. And when we first started, we weren't even running the alphabetic order in reverse, but running it in reverse is the other half of the code. And notice, for example, Giants equals 25 and 38. In the same cipher, so is Ravens, like how the Ravens beat the Giants for their first Super Bowl. But Giants, 25 forwards, 38 in reverse. The Giants become 2-5 on the road and 3-8 for the season. And remember last year, hold on, we got Chris in Vegas who wants to call in here real quick. He's having a great day. I'm going to let him interrupt. Hey, Chris, congrats on your big wins today.
Zach, thank you so much. Not only on my big win today, but also your notes helped me get the big win. So thank you very much, because I wouldn't have been as confident as I was without looking at your notes. I truly appreciate everything that you do. And I just got home actually, so I wasn't even sure. Are you live streaming right now, brother?
I'm live streaming right now. Indeed.
Oh, you are the man. Thank you. We're on you guys are on, but I'm on the Vikings +3, so we'll see what happens on there. We took the Kings today +2. We'll see what happens at the end of the night on that. I kind of like the Memphis Grizzlies upset tonight. We got the Memphis Grizzlies money line +460, +500. We took them +12, so a little sprinkle on that. But I will maybe after the show or something, I can give you a call and we can talk. But thank you so much for everything that you do, and I truly appreciate you, Zach. Your notes were on fire today. Man, you had an excellent day. College football, you were on fire. You had an excellent day in college football. I used your notes to pick my 13-teamer. I hit a 13-leg teamer for $10. I paid $3,200.
Nice.
I ended up hitting a $60 6-leg teamer that ended up paying $2,500. And then, Fortunately for myself, last weekend on Saturday, I hit that 10-teamer for $10. I paid $2,500. It's been an incredible week, but I can't do it by myself, and I can't do it alone. So with your great advice and some of the stuff that I look at with my numbers, and I line it up with your stuff, it makes me more confident, and it gives me more purpose. So Zach, thank you very much. I'll get off the stream. Have an excellent night tonight. Let's go Vikes +3. It's the only time I could probably vote for my own team. I'm a Vikings and Colts fan, so we'll see what happens. So you have an excellent night tonight, brother.
All right. Appreciate it, Chris. Congrats on the win.
I'll talk to you a little bit afterwards. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. All right. So, yeah. And that's how I've always taught people to play. Play small, lose small, play small, win big. Again, with this knowledge, you can hit parlays that definitely multiply. And he hit some monster ones, so shout out to him. But again, coming back to this Giants and Commanders game, the Giants get to 3-8 and 2-5 away. And again, the Giants love those numbers, 38 and 25. And Ron Rivera got his 97th loss today, the 25th prime. Just like how last week DeVito made his debut with the Giants 97 days after his 25th birthday. The guy that lives at home with his parents already got his first NFL win. There was another thing there for the Giants too. It's slipping my mind right now. Oh yeah, I know what it is. Again, just the big numbers in Washington, D.C., 47. You might recall the Commanders gave the Eagles their first loss last year on the day leaving 47 days left in the year and getting to 4-7. Again, the letters D.C. are 47, just like government's 47, just like authorities 47, like Republicans 47, like Democrats 47, like presidents 47, like White House is 47, like Biden in D.C. for 47 years as senator before becoming president-elect, like how he was the 47th VP and he took office with 47-year-old Obama and on and on and on and on and on. And he beat Trump, who's Mr. 47. But like I pointed out, last year it was a big payout in the Commanders game in a 47 ritual. And it could be the same thing this year because this year the Commanders were a huge favorite. Last year they were a huge underdog against the Eagles when they upset them in the 47 ritual. This year they're a huge favorite against the Giants and get beat with familiar numbers. So it was a promising upset, the Giants over the Commanders, and beat them soundly. 50 points in Washington as you have the ritual with Jimmy Carter losing his wife 49 days after his birthday or on his 50th day of his age. Now, the Cowboys and Panthers game. Cowboys got to 7-3 and 3-3 away, winning with 33 points. Notice how Carolina is 73, and notice how Cowboys is 33, right? And today's date numerology was 73. But again, today is 113 days after Dak's birthday. It's also his 30th birthday. 113 is the 30th prime number. Notice Cowboys is 30 as well, and Dallas is 113. And Dallas established in 1841, and 41 is the 13th prime, and all these numbers play a lot in Dallas. You want to know them all. But today, the Cowboys became 11-3 versus the Panthers as a franchise in Dak's 113th career game, 113 days after his birthday, when part of his legacy is the death of his mother, Peggy Prescott, on November 3rd in the year 13. That's before he even ended up on the Cowboys. On 1/13, his mom died. And then his brother just died during the draft on April 23rd, the 113th day of the year. And when his mom died, it was 97 days after his birthday. And when his brother died, it was 97 days before his birthday. And of course, death has that gematria 97. So again, now all these years later, in this very interesting year for Dallas, remember, today leaves 42 days left in the year, right? Number stamped all over Black history. Dak Prescott's got that 42 encoded in his name. Today he's beating the Carolina Black Panthers, who they always sync up with the Black Panther Party. Again, like I said earlier this year on the Black Panther anniversary of establishment, the Dolphins beat the Panthers with 42 points. Remember, Usher, the musician, was born in Dallas. You had that Fall of the House of Usher show put out the same time they were doing the mega ritual with the Ravens and Tomlin, because the Fall of the House of Usher is based on Edgar Allan Poe's stories, who died in Baltimore. But again, big time ritual with Dak today. And we're going to talk about what they did with Dak and the Panthers in light of what they also did in the Cardinals and Texans game. Because remember, once upon a time, there was a Dallas Texans, and they folded and became the Kansas City Chiefs. So again, you just got to follow these storylines, because sometimes if you follow the right thread, it leads you right to the final outcome of the season. But yeah, big ritual game today for the Cowboys. And, the 1-1-3 didn't disappoint. The Titans and Jaguars game today. Trevor Lawrence, he got his 20th career win. And by the way, just in terms of our picks in the league, just to go down the line again, we like the Browns, we like the Lions, we like the Packers, we like the Dolphins, we like the Giants, we like the Cowboys, we like the Jaguars. So we didn't have a totally perfect day, but we had a damn near perfect day. But anyway, we favored the Jaguars because Trevor Lawrence could get his 20th win. And notice they won by 20 points, and they won 34 with 34. As you know, Tennessee's 34 in the most pure cipher, and in that same cipher, Titans is 20. So Trevor Lawrence gets his 20th win, winning by 20, scoring 34 against Tennessee. And that number has always historically played with the Titans, 20 and 34. And also on this 73-37 date numerology, the Jaguars are 7-3, the Titans are 3-7. The Jaguars also got to 3-3 at home. You see how Tennessee, we just talked about being 34. It's also 137, which is the 33rd prime number. The Cardinals and the Texans. So this game, here, I'll tell you something. Historically, Houston, the best number in Houston's 31. This season, the best number in Houston's been 112. The Cardinals got their 112th loss versus the AFC today. I think it was versus the AFC. If not, it was their all-time road loss. But I think it was definitely versus the AFC. 112th loss versus the AFC. Kyler Murray could have stayed on 31 career losses. Instead, he picked up 32 in Houston. And, 112 has been perfect this year in Houston games. 31 has not. Remember when the guy from the Migos died? Takeoff. He died the day before the anniversary of his album Rocket. The anniversary of that album. He died on November 1st in Houston with his 31-year-old young uncle on November 1st. The day before November 2nd, again, the anniversary of the Rocket album. November 2nd's 112 with the 31-year-old Uncle Quavo or however you say it. And then they arrested the shooter 31 days later. But this year, the number in Houston that's perfect is 112. And, it made that game tricky. I had more of a lean on the Cardinals, so this game broke up the perfect day. I also thought the Bucs had a very good narrative to upset the 49ers. That fell short. The reason I like the Bucs to upset the Niners as huge underdogs was because John Lynch connects both teams. And John Lynch, it was 55 days after his birthday. Todd Bowles, the coach of the Bucs, came in on 55 losses. 49ers equals 55 in Gematria. Had the Bucs won, they would have been 5-5, 55 days after John Lynch's birthday. Kind of like last week in college football, Texas Tech upset and became 5-5, 55 days after Mahomes' birthday. We can't be shocked, though, that the Bucs lost to the 49ers. They fell to 4-6, and that's a good number at 46, I should say, is a good number at the 49ers stadium. They hosted Super Bowl 50, which was the 46th Super Bowl of the modern era. And Buccaneers has the 91. Purdy became 9-1 at home all time. You see how Buccaneers is also 62? So is Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we've won a lot, especially in a lot of nice upsets over the years of the Bucs with the 62 pattern. Purdy could have fallen to 6-2 at home in the regular season. And like week 1 of the season, it was a nice 62 ritual with the Bucs upsetting the Vikings in week 1. That game, we're really banking on. Had that upset come through, a lot of people had a really great day. Had that come through, a lot of people would have been, their pockets would have been too fat if the Bucs would have come through today, which would have been nice. The Bills had the 33s and the 11s on their side in week 11 in a battle of New York. New York's 33 land, the 11th state in week 11. And the Bills get to 6-5 before playing the 65 city Philadelphia. Again, always teaching about Philadelphia in 65 and why it was established on October 27th, the day leaving 65 days left in the year. But yeah, not too exciting of a call on that one. Bills over Jets is probably what almost everybody had. And the Rams and the Seahawks favored the Rams in this one. SoFi Stadium is also 46. And the bigger thing that made us like the Rams is there were two really strong numbers with both teams that lined up on both sides. Stafford got his 19th win in the regular season with the Rams, beating Seattle, just like how he started the year winning in Seattle. Remember, we were out on the streets of Seattle telling the people of Seattle why the Seahawks are going to lose before the game was played. You might recall Stafford got his 94th win in that one, just like how the Seahawks won their only Super Bowl in the 94th NFL season, and they did it over Denver, the other 94 city. And again, that was in the Seahawks' 38th season when Colorado's 38, and Colorado's also 43 like Seattle Seahawks, and they scored 43 in that game. But Stafford got his 19th win today in the regular season with the Rams, and Geno Smith got his 15th loss with the Seahawks, Rams 15. And I caught the end of that game. If you heard the end of that game, you heard what the announcer said. The Rams won on the Seahawks missing a late field goal. And when he missed and the Rams won, the announcer said he'd made 15 straight field goals before that miss. So again, I mean, and that's what we've demonstrated for all the years that we've been doing this. Again, the numbers that we talk about with the games, even when we get the game wrong, it's like the numbers, they still put it in your face in the game. It just goes the other way, but they're still flashing the same number. And you're like, I mean, how can people not wake up to how rigged it is? Or calling out the numbers they're talking about game after game. And the Rams also just have the Seahawks number. There was at the beginning of the game too. I had the game on at the beginning and the end. Caught the beginning and end of this game. The Rams had scored points in 52 consecutive red zone possessions, and then it came to an end at 52. Big number with the Rams that we talk about all the time. Just scripted. Bengals and Ravens, what we wrote home about on this one was we thought 35 had a great chance to score the first touchdown with nights odds on 35 Thursday, and he sure did. And again, his name's Gus Edwards, which equals 149, the 35th prime. Or hold on, I got the wrong letter there. Gus Edwards, 149, the 35th prime. The game was 149 days from his upcoming birthday. Number 35 scores the first touchdown in 35 Thursday. And Joe Mixon, you see how Thursday is also 116 and 46? The 46th state is Oklahoma, and it turned 116 on Thursday Night Football. Joe Mixon scored a touchdown on his 116th day of his age, which we also liked. And we liked Mark Andrews to score a touchdown. He did not. He got hurt, but he was also an Oklahoma product. And remember, with regards to the Burrow injury, we've seen this ritual with him before. He got hurt in primetime a few years ago while the score was 9-7. And there was like some big conjunction with Jupiter on a Thursday, and Jupiter's the Tiger Stripe planet. And here we are on a Thursday again with Burrow. Anyway, you see how Burrow's 97-34? Again, so is injury, 97-34. If you look, Burrow's, here, I'll show you right now. Burrow is on 97 regular season touchdowns and 34 all-time wins. He got hurt while scoring the 97th touchdown. But Joe Burrow right here, 97 TDs. If you can see the TD column. Let me zoom this in a little bit more. Well, where did it take me to? Here we go. Joe Burrow, touchdowns, 97 in the regular season. Wins in the regular season, 29. Wins in the playoffs, 5 for a total of 34. Injury, Burrow, 97-34, 34-point win. Again, the Ravens in 34. Aguilar scored his 34th career touchdown in that game. It was 34 date numerology, the day of the injury. Again, I mean, people didn't even notice that Joe Burrow got hurt, and now they're telling you it's so serious that he's out for the whole season. The reason they do these scripted rituals is because they have these guys' careers all mapped out, planned out. They got to keep Joe Burrow right where he is because they got the next chapter scripted. They got to make sure it all lines up. There's no way Joe Burrow's hurt bad enough to be out for the year. Probably not even hurt at all. Rig sports, ritual death, fake injuries, same patterns. I mean, here, you go back to my old website because it was that long ago. Here. Old post with LeBron when he went to the Lakers. He was doing like 34 mania with his injuries. LeBron injury 34. Let me see. when LeBron was 34, he was having all those injury problems with the Lakers, and they just kept doing the same rituals over and over. So anyway, the point is we've been talking about all this stuff for so long, and nothing's changed. It's the same rituals, it's the same metrics, it's the same numbers, it's the same type of script. And yeah, again, congrats to the winners. Dominant day. I told people last week before week 10 was even played, I said week 10 looks tough. I said week 11 is going to be a good week, though. Just like I called out week 9. I said week 9 is going to be a good week, though. And yeah, so again, has been the most challenging season to date, but people getting back up in the winning side of things with recent weeks. It's funny the Vikings are up on the Broncos 10-3 in this game right now. Broncos equals 103. And this game's a challenging game to call. If the Vikings do prevail, there'll be a historic pattern with Sunday Night Football that we've talked about for years. But home teams are 10-2 right now coming into this game for this NFL week. Broncos equals 103. And again, Vikings are up 10-3 right now. Here, let me show you what's interesting about the way that they scripted this game, too, with the way the 103s can play. Give me a second to pull up my NFL notes. But I just wanted you to see how 103, but we were looking at this yesterday, the way they had the 103s potentially lining up in this game. Let's see. Okay. So let me scroll down here to where the 10-3 part is. So the Vikings come into this game on 103 wins versus the AFC. Isn't that interesting? They come into the Broncos game, Broncos 103, on 103 wins versus the AFC. And the record versus the AFC all time, including the postseason, is 103 and 102. So it's like, they could fall to 103 and 103 all time versus the AFC. But now because of the way that the week schedule's lined up, now you have an argument for a 103 to go in their favor. And keep in mind, if the Vikings were to upset the Broncos tonight, making home teams 10-3 for the week, would it remind you of last NFL season, the 103rd NFL season in State Farm Arena, which equals 103? Remember, Mahomes came into that game, the Super Bowl, 10-3 in the playoffs for his playoff record. And then he beat the Eagles to become 11-3. This is NFL Week 11 this week. Keep that in mind. But Eagles has the 113. And, it's just like, are they, because it's the Super Bowl rematch tomorrow on Monday Night Football. Remember, President Biden equals 72 and 81. Tomorrow's Biden's 81st birthday. He's from Pennsylvania. The Eagles from Pennsylvania come in 8-1. The Chiefs come in 7-2 to play on Biden's birthday. Mahomes is 7-1 on Monday Night Football for his career. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the Chiefs' next win versus the AFC is 113, but you might want to double check that. So yeah, it's just like you can see the way that they pay tribute to the numbers, the ritualism by how they line up the schedule. And some games are easier to call than others. If the Vikings prevail, the historic pattern that would show in this game, because if you weigh the scales in this game, it looks like there's a lot there for the Broncos, but there's two big things for the Vikings based on history. Back when we first started, back when I did everything for free and I would just do all the primetime games, I mean, we rarely ever got a primetime game wrong, and I was showing the same stuff week after week. On Monday Night Football, it would be all about 33. On Sunday Night Football, it would be all about 39. And the Broncos, here, I'll just show you. Hold on. Let me see. The Broncos are on 39, or excuse me, the Broncos are on 38 all-time home losses versus the NFC. So if they got upset tonight, be the 39th all-time home loss on SNF. And then Dobbs, the young Vikings quarterback, he's 2-9 as a starter, has a chance to get to 3-9. So again, games that are challenging where you have pretty decent narratives on both sides, or a game like this where it looks like there's a lot there for the Broncos, but then you have those 39s on the Vikings side, the historic. And the reason I say the historic consistent winner is The last 3-4 years, 39 on Sunday Night Football, not nearly as consistent as it used to be. Back in the day, you could just bank on it. It's hit a few times this year, but nothing is as consistent as it used to be. And that's why I teach people the way to play with this knowledge at this day and age. Again, bet small, lose small, bet small, win big. Again, you parlay things, you can multiply your money by a lot. And, Chris, he multiplied a $10 bill into 2,500 and another 10 into another 2,500 and a 20 into 3,000. And I mean, that is an awesome weekend. There's guys who've been here for years and done that a few times, but he did it in a weekend. And again, that shows the power of the knowledge. Chris's advantage is he lives in Vegas and he's been gambling for over a decade. And learning what I showed paired him with the knowledge he already had about lines. And now he's putting the two things together. And he's like, okay, Zach agrees with this game and I agree. And again, putting the two sets of knowledge he has together has really helped him take his game to a new level. Again, that's why the people who come and complain about my work, it's just like, it's just like anything. You have a teacher in a classroom. There's going to be some students in the class who will excel. There will be some who do well. There'll be some who do okay. And there's some who will not do anything and they'll blame the teacher, And I mean, that's pretty much who all my trolls are. So the bottom feeders, the bottom dwellers. And yeah, it's not a good look to be one of my trolls. It just makes you a sad, pathetic person, especially if you're making videos saying that Zach's a fraud. It's like, nope, Zach's not a fraud. Zach's hit more futures than anybody you ever heard of. And Zach taught the most awesome knowledge there ever was to reveal just how scripted the games were. And he proved it season after season, year after year for a decade. So, yeah, anyway. The only thing I really could have asked for today was the Bucs upset to come through. Sometimes I wonder, I'm like, man, then they say, we can't let them have that one. They'll all be too rich in that community if that comes through today. So, anyhow, still a glorious day. That would have just put it over the top. And let me put my eyes on the chat real quick. Yeah, that troll that always spams that Zach went 5-9 years. They just spam the same thing every time. All right, here, let me, I see we got some veterans in the chat. If anybody wants to hop on and talk Gematria knowledge, and again, drop their own links, share how their own day went, how their season's been. Let me get the link real quick. Keep your eyes on the chat if you'd like to join. The link is up. And can I clap? Can I talk about, are you talking about DeMar Hamlin's claps at the beginning of the year, January 2nd, 2023? Because I know we talked about that a lot already. Yeah, Joe Flacco to the Browns. I don't, did they officially sign him? I know that he went there for a little tryout. Of course, he's the old Ravens quarterback, like the old Browns team became the Ravens. What's up, Chris?
Zach, so I had to say this now that you're going live and putting it on. I'm logged in the chat, looking at everything, but I had to say this today, bro. When I went into work today,
can you mute your video, because it's hard to hear you with the video playing over you?
I am so sorry. I just did that right now. I apologize. So when I went today morning to the sportsbook at the casino that I work at, there's a gentleman in the supervisor. He's there early in the morning. His brother has been part of this community with you for the last 7 years. His name is Israel. Sometimes he calls into you, and I have never met him or heard of him or nothing like that. Sometimes I hear him. Sometimes when he calls in, and he calls in with knowledge with you on Gematria. And his brother is a huge supervisor in the William Hill Sportsbook. So I'm only going to say that. I'm not going to say what casino or anything like that. But his other brother is part of the community with you. And so when I went up to the book today to go cash my ticket and stuff, the guy looked at me, and we've talked. We've seen me times telling you, hey, Chris, I let him know when I was getting ready to cash out and all that. Hey, if you ever look at anything, because I'm spreading out my YouTube. The YouTube is very new. I only got 640 subscribers. I've only started my YouTube for the last So I do, let try to do what I can to show some sport insight and knowledge. So I let him know, hey, yeah, my name's Chris. You can always check out my YouTube. It's Chris from Vegas. He goes, are you Chris from Vegas, Vegas? And I go, yeah, that's me, Chris from Vegas. He goes, do you know Zachary Hubbard? And I go, Zachary Hubbard? I go, yeah, GematriaEffectNews, Freedom to Find Truth. Twitter, his YouTube. He goes, yeah, his YouTube always gets canceled out, right? And I go, yeah, that's Zach. Is there's way stuff. He goes, my brother's name's Israel. I'm the supervisor here, and he's always calling in. But my brother's always saying about great things when you call in. You're giving good numbers and good advice, and Zach's notes and everything. And we're totally been on board with Zach for the last 8 years, and it's just crazy how everything lines up. And I was totally. Shocked by it because for me, I'm in Vegas. There's a lot of people and everything like that, but it is a small world in general. So to know that you have 100,000, almost, you got 80, 90,000 people that are following you on YouTube, and you're not going to reach everybody at once, but you will reach them all in time. And to see something like that involve should show you that the confidence that you should have should excel even bigger and better than it's ever been. Even though people aren't liking, subscribing, and the numbers aren't getting to the 100K, you're going to be the first person to be in Gematria that's going to hit that 100K, and we're going to make it work. We got to produce.
No. That the channel will never hit 100K. It was at 95,000 subs during March Madness, and they dropped it 5K, and now it's obvious on some kind of algorithm because it always ticks down and it stays like right at 89K now. Because like the channel will gain 30 subs and then drop 50 the next day. That they're keeping the channel, because I've been saying this for a while, that if your channel hits 100K, it goes into a different gear in the algorithm and it grows really fast. Once you hit 100K, it doesn't take you nearly as long to get to 200K. So that's why they don't let the channel get there. So I don't think it's ever going to get past 89,000, honestly.
Oh, so you think in general, just generically, they're just keeping you bottom line so you don't reach to the excel to the most potential that you can get because they're holding you back.
That's why the channel's been deleted 20 some times. So
that totally makes sense, and that is fucked up, Zach. That's terrible that they would hold someone back and they say in the end of the day, hey, we're not going to control what you say whatever you want, do what you want, but at the end of the day, we're going to hold you back and we're not going to let you excel. It's kind of fucked up. But you know what? Hey, at the end of the day, we never know. Maybe we'll break that barrier. Maybe we'll go through where there's so many more people that we thought of and the purpose and knowledge that you have because you're highly confident, bro. And with your confidence comes that purpose. That's why you keep moving and grooving, bro. So you know what? Maybe we'll break the mold and we'll go above and beyond that and you will get that 100K. So you know what? In general, I think it is because I never expected when I went to cash that ticket, they pulled me behind. It's over a 300-to-1 odds hitter. So I had to go behind. I had to give them my social security card, my numbers. I've done this many times and they got to take, they wanted to take taxes out. You let them know, hey guys, I've done this so many times on my app. I've hit many 10-teamers. You never take taxes out because in the general, guys, if you're ever in the sports book and you are losing, here's some good advice. And you guys probably already know a lot of the bettors in the community, but if you do want a little bit of advice, guys, it's in your best interest. A lot of people that just walk away, they don't take their losing tickets. They just leave them around in the sports book, in the trash or whatever. At the end of the day, if you collect those losing tickets, you can use those as write-offs. So anything that you have at the end of the day, you can claim, so you never have to pay taxes on it. We're just going to keep a little insight there. There's little tricks and trays around it. So the more you win, the more you take, the more you don't have to give. So you got to be smart and true to yourself so you can always learn. So that is highly respectable. So they had me filling stuff out, but I had everything, but they ended up going, man, this guy's been here before. But that one guy, bro, saved me from having to pay. I know it sounds stupid, but it was 28. They wanted to take 28% tax on the 5K. It was about $6,200. And the guy goes, no. The supervisor that knows you, Zach, you saved me 28% tax. Because the guy comes out from the back and he goes, no, I know him. It's fine. It's no big deal. We're not going to take taxes on it. He could pay it. We're going to give him a W-2 form. So I had to get a 1099 form that shows how much I won, and I had to fucking pay on it. But at least, I can save my tax. I can show losing tickets to cover and replace what I got, and I'll never have to pay for that as a loss. and I could collect everything as I have as a big win. So just to let you know, your word is getting way out there. Even if you don't know it, your word is getting out there.
Well, you're in the only city where people know who I am. The last time I was down there, I got creeped out. I was like, okay, too many people recognize me down here.
No, bro. There's a lot of people. Like I told you, I just talked to you the other day about the Raiders with the Giants. Antonio Pierce being 58 and the Raiders could win and stuff. I'm going to do that. And, it's just crazy on that stuff. But there's other people that I work with that have known you longer and with me. And it's like, man, your word is spreading. So I'll let other people get on. But thank you very much. I wanted to let you know that because it was just crazy because I never ran into someone that would be like, actually said your name to me. And I was shocked. I'm like, Zachary Hubbard? Yeah. I'm like, oh shit, that's my buddy. And he goes, yeah, I've been following him on Twitter for a long time. I'm one of his followers. He actually posted your stuff on there. And I was like, oh shit. And he knew me from calling in. And then if you ever get a call in from Israel in the community, if you're hearing me out there, thank you for all the good vibes that you told your brother. And thank you for all the good vibes that you spread about Zach, because your brother is spreading good vibes about Zach, who's actually a supervisor of the William Hill Sportsbook, and he knows the game within the game. So this guy collects the winning tickets. He gets all the winning numbers, because when you win a ticket, what does the sportsbook do? They take your ticket from you. They don't give it to you. You better take a picture of your ticket. But if you get a losing ticket, you can take it home because it doesn't matter. So this guy's got all the winning numbers and and so it's pretty crazy. So thank you so much, Zach, and I won't take up your time. And let's go Vikes +3. Have a good night.
All right, appreciate it, Chris. Take care, man.
Bye-bye.
See you. So I didn't realize. So, okay, I see we got another Bills thing today, huh? Another Bills thing. At the beginning of the year, it was a player with the same initials as Damar Hamlin. I can't remember his name now, but it was DH initials. They took him out on the Damar Hamlin wagon. So, yeah, we got Taylor Michael Rapp now. And today would be 321 days after the Damar Hamlin collapse, right? Or a span of 322 days, because his was January 2nd. Damar Hamlin, the ritual was January 2nd. So it's 321 days later, like a countdown. Or it is a span of 322. Of course, yesterday was the 322nd day of the year. Yale, Skull and Bones, Order 322. Walter Camp, of that order, credited with American football. So Taylor Rapp, let's see what kind of information can we get about him. Played college football at Washington up in Seattle. Having a big year. And by the way, Jim Brown died in UCLA. Big win for Cleveland today with the UCLA quarterback, right? Taylor Rapp was drafted by Los Angeles, played for Washington in college. He's from Bellingham, Washington. Second round, 61st pack, 2019 draft. Rams and Buffalo Bills are his teams. Last year, the season opener was the day the Queen died. The Bills upset the defending Super Bowl champion Rams. Pac-12 Defensive Freshman of the Year. 2 times first team All Pac-12. Here, let's look at his football reference page real quick. See if we can find out what else there is about Mr. Taylor Rapp. Okay. Would have been his 332 days after his birthday. That means it's also his 333rd day of his age. Just the whole Damar Hamlin number 3 thing, right? So this happens to Taylor Rapp on his 333rd day of his age. And these stats haven't updated. So today would have been his 68th game, 51st career start. Now, I got to go back to Damar Hamlin, but I remember there was something about 51 in Damar Hamlin and what happened in history with Dick Butkus and the Lions player. I got to go back and recall. I got so many posts on Damar Hamlin now. Here, hold on. Let me put one more thing in here. And, of course, we had Dick Butkus dying the big ritual this year before the Bears got their first win of the season on Thursday Night Football. That was a big payday for us, that game. Damar Hamlin's eyes reopened on the 5th day of the first month. Let me see. Let me see if I got the 51s in here. Okay, so I pointed out that Chuck Hughes equals 51. That's the other player who who died on the field in history. Well, I shouldn't. Damar Hamlin didn't die, but the player who did die on the field was Chuck Hughes, number 51. Dick Butkus, number 51, stood above him. In that game, there were 51 points scored, and that had happened 51 years before the Damar Hamlin collapse. Cincinnati also has the Gematria 51 where Damar Hamlin got injured. So, yeah, it does stand out to me that once this updates, because they haven't put into today's game, that it'll be his 51st game. Yeah, I got to think about it more. There could be a lot more to it. Taylor Michael Rapp. Let's just check his Gematria. His full name. Got that 2-6. Let me see. I forget. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about it more. The only thing that really stands out to me is that happened to him in his 51st game. Okay, but yeah, I think we hit the main points for the NFL, and for people who are new to this, for everything I told you, there is even more to it. Again, join us on the Patreon. $5 a month gets you all the written content for every sport that we cover right now. That's NBA, NFL, college football. And $11 a month gets you all the written content plus all the live streams. And the live streams can definitely be helpful. People who are new to my work might not know how to read the notes. I feel like they're very logical, but again, I've been doing it for so long. People who've been in the community know exactly how to read the notes. If you're new, do a month of live streaming and hear us discuss the games. There's a order to weighing the facts. Like, it's a QB driven league. Strong QB narratives usually get the cake. So, but yeah, the ritualism too. Just people got to wake up. Jim Brown's dead, and then the Cleveland Browns are balling. And now the it stands out to me so much about having the UCLA quarterback in light of Jim Brown dying in LA, and Jim Brown died the day of the first playoff game between the Lakers and Nuggets, when the Nuggets were on their way to winning the finals, a big 38 thing for the 38th state, when last year LeBron had the point ritual on the 38th day of the year, scoring 38, becoming the all-time leader 38 years after the record was set. And remember, just Cleveland and L.A. Tupac said, we're doing this from Cleveland to L.A. The Rams were once upon a time in Cleveland. Odell Beckham got traded on his birthday, the day leaving 56 days left in the year, from Cleveland to L.A., and then scored the first touchdown of Super Bowl 56. A nice payout for us, something we liked a lot. And then the other week on his birthday, the day leaving 56 days left in the year, he scored his first touchdown since the Super Bowl with the Ravens. Another thing we liked. But, yeah, Odell Beckham, his movement from Cleveland to L.A. to Baltimore, when Baltimore started out in Cleveland, there's something going on with that too. So, something definitely going on with that. 19 points at the half on 19 date numerology. Again, for all you Vikings fans who can't accept that your league is scripted, I want you to look up the Vikings record on Leif Erikson Day. You'll find out that they're 9-0. And notice how Bears equals 90. The last time they played on Leif Erikson Day was versus the Bears. They became 9-0 on Leif Erikson Day all time. 45 is the 9th triangular number. They got the 9th win on Leif Erikson Day, beating the Bears. Again, that's what I mean. When you have this knowledge and you're aware of things, some things are easier calls than others. Leif Erikson was a Viking. That's why the Vikings have never lost on Leif Erikson Day. But, yeah, again, thank you to everyone who supports the work. We got one person in the chat real quick. Open up. What's up? Let me switch the audio settings around so people can hear you nice and clear. Thanks for joining us. What's up, Open Up?
Oh, what's up? I just wanted to say appreciate the notes today. Fire. I hit a 4 parlay 2200.
Nice.
And then about the Taylor Rapp thing. Like you said,
Like
it
you
was a
said, it was a
68th
68th
game.
game.
Lamar
Lamar
Hamlin equals
Hamlin equals
68,
68,
and they
and
played
they
against
played
the
against the
Jets.
Jets.
We know about
We know about
1968.
1968.
So
So
that's a
that's a
connection.
connection.
Nice.
But
Very
yeah,
good.
appreciate your work, and I'll
I'll
continue to
continue to
support.
support.
All right. Congrats on the win.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Have a good night.
You too.
Oh, there was echo on that? My bad. I had the wrong setting on. I fixed it. But yeah, he also had a nice win today. Nice little parlay that paid over 2,000. That's how we like to do it. Again, invest small, win big. And again, you hit a few parlays like that in a season, you can lose the rest of the year and still make a nice profit. And it's just like week one. We had a good week one to start the year. A lot of people hit it big week one. Some people made enough in week one that they could afford to lose the rest of the season if they stayed consistent, and they'd still come out ahead. And even though it's been the toughest season, a lot of people still well ahead of the curve because there's been some days like today. So, oh, shout out to here's the gentleman that Chris was just talking about in the chat. So, yeah, Las Vegas is the only city where I've been to where people seem to recognize me. And again, that's because we've had quite an impact on the sports gambling world, putting out this knowledge for a decade now, waking people up to just how rigged the game is. So again, thank you to everyone who supported along the way. We'll leave it there for tonight. And until next time, True Seeker, congrats to the winners.